We have some breaking news to discuss today as the Toronto Maple Leafs have made a trade acquiring Ilya Lyubushkin from the Anaheim Ducks. And this trade is an interesting one. It may not be the name that a lot of Leafs fans wanted to hear coming to Toronto, but there is some positives and some interesting cap maneuvering done by multiple teams in this trade. So we're going to break all that down and much more in this episode of Leafs Digest, as they did just win a game 4-2 as well. But before we get into it, a quick reminder that this video is actually sponsored by Rentals.ca. And if you're unfamiliar with Rentals.ca, they are Canada's largest apartment hunting network. And the Leafs fans have wanted moves for a while, Darius. We battled through injuries throughout the whole year, and they finally made a move. Fans were calling for Brad Treliving to make some shakeups to the team, and they made a shakeup today. If you feel like you need some changes in your life, then it's time to move, and Rentals.ca has you covered.
You can rent houses, apartments, condos, whatever it is, Rentals.ca has you covered. From coast to coast, you can go straight to Rentals.ca's website that is clean and easy to use and pinpoint exactly on the map where you want to move. Rentals.ca will find you the best rental listings.
Yeah, and the best part is they've been supporting us, and the website, like you said, is super clean, super easy to use. They are Leafs fans, so make sure to check them out in the pinned comment and the description as well. And thank you to Rentals.ca for sponsoring this video. Now, Darius, like Rentals.ca, if it's time to move in your life, the Leafs are making moves right now. They just made a pretty big move. I mean, depending how you categorize this move is up to you, but it's a Toronto Maple Leafs move, so let's just categorize it as big, and it literally just happened 5 minutes ago, and stuff is still developing about this. We'll have another video about it tomorrow discussing some more in-depth details. This is more so a reaction. So this is from Elliot Friedman here. Again, more so reaction. So Lyubushkin will go to Toronto with 75% retained. The Ducks get a third. Hurricanes get a sixth. So there's a lot going on here, but I'm just going to get your opinion on it, Darius. It's very interesting. You can see from Darren Dreger, Carolina would receive a draft pick for their retention. Hearing 25%, again, not done, and details are still being finalized, but at this point, it seems pretty much done, as Elliot Friedman said. He is going to Toronto. So, Darius, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on what we've given up? You can kind of outline the trade a bit more simply for the fans here if you want.
Yeah.
But because there's a lot of stuff going on. But from what we're hearing from Elliot Friedman, and we kind of had a feeling this was going to be coming after the game. Darius, we were texting about it off camera after the Leafs' big win against the Coyotes. That stuff was brewing. He was pulled from the starting lineup, and the Leafs got it done very quickly, maybe because Mark Giordano was down.
Yeah, I think it has to do with, well, there's two things at play. Tanev's gone, right? He went to Dallas, so he's out of the picture. So we were saying yesterday that Brad Treliving has to pivot very quickly, and now Giordano has a head injury. Now, they don't know the extent of it, but if you ask me, a head injury does not sound good. So he might be out long term. And the Leafs, we've been talking about it. They need a guy who shoots right, and Lyubushkin does that. Now, in terms of on-ice product, the Leaf fans, we are familiar with this player. He came to the Leafs at the deadline 2 years ago, played the playoffs against Tampa Bay in that first series that the Leafs played against Tampa Bay. And in his previous stint with the Maple Leafs, he played 31 games. He had 6 points, and he was a +4. So not too bad. That was 2 years ago. This year, we'll get into his stats as well. Not the greatest season with the Anaheim Ducks, but the Anaheim Ducks are not a great team. He has 4 points, 4 assists in 55 games. But again, he's not a guy who's going to put up a lot of points for you. I wouldn't look for that, but he's a right shot defenseman, which they need. Could be a defense partner for Morgan Rielly moving forward here again, because I think they were paired 2 years ago on the same pairing in the playoffs. So that's a good thing as well if it works out this time around. And then in terms of the money, this is great for the Leafs. I'm not a huge fan of giving up the third-round pick. Again, this is just a reaction. I might feel differently when I wake up in the morning, but the third-round pick going out is not great. I would like to see a lower-round pick go out for a player like this because they could use a third-rounder to get maybe a better defenseman. And in saying that, they can make other moves now because of the fact that there was 50% retained, and then there's another 25% retained from Carolina. He's making less than league minimum right now. They can go out and make another move for sure. They can possibly make another 2 moves, right? So this is a good trade. We've been joking about it. They just need a guy who shoots right-handed. This is a guy who shoots right-handed. And he's a physical presence, which they will need in the playoffs. We'll just have to see where he slots in.
No more 6 left shot defensemen like we saw the other night. But
yes.
I mean, that's the big thing here is we've been clamoring for it. They got a right-handed shot defenseman. And you look at Jay Fresh's chart, very bad. All red aside from teammates, which I don't even know what that means. But the big thing here is that we got someone. And again, it's hard to, obviously the advanced analytics aren't great on him, but it's hard to kind of categorize this when they're playing for the Anaheim Ducks, who are terrible. The good thing is there's some familiarity here, and you mentioned it with the retain. This means, at least to me, that, I mean, they're doing this on purpose. They're going to make another move. And again, we'll probably have a video covering that tomorrow, well, especially once we get some more information. But again, looking at his stats, 4 points, 55 games, there's some familiarity there with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I mean, they tend to, maybe not, I mean, not with Brad Treliving necessarily, but with the team in general, the front office, and some of the, the coach, Sheldon Keefe, knows how to use him. And he's coming off of an okay season with the Sabres, where he put up 14 points in 68 games. He's 29 years old. He's not the most exciting player. Yes, giving up a third and a sixth. I believe the sixth is going from the Leafs as well, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
We don't know the full details yet. I think it could be from the Ducks. I'm not sure because there's salary all over the place.
Yeah, okay, so either way, we still are kind of developing here. But at the very least, let's just say it's a third and maybe a sixth for Lyubushkin. It's probably just a third. They still have their first round pick. Maybe they go all in and trade that for, I mean, I keep bringing up Noah Hannafin. Who knows if they're actually going to get a deal done with him? Probably not, because the Flames do not want to deal with the Maple Leafs, it seems. But Darius, I don't mind this. The money stuff makes it interesting. They needed a defenseman. Giordano went down. We have all these guys who are, Liljegren's in and out of the lineup with injuries. Obviously, the whole Klingberg situation, like you saw in the Rentals ad there on the graphic, he didn't work out. Obviously, that's way far gone now. I'm just excited that the Toronto Maple Leafs made a move. We'll probably have a more, maybe a different feeling about this trade tomorrow, but I think from an objective standpoint, it makes hockey sense for this team because they needed a right-handed shot defenseman very, very badly, even though Lyubushkin, there could be worse. Well, maybe, depending on how you view him.
Well, it depends how you look at it. Right? Yeah, exactly. But there could be better, too, and better could be on the horizon because of this trade, right? Like, if they win the Stanley Cup, none of us are talking about this. Nobody cares, right? The third-round pick does hurt, and it's going to hurt tomorrow. I know people are going to be like, that was a little bit too much to give up. But, again, the retained salary almost makes it worth it because now you can go out and get another guy, right? And hopefully it's another right shot guy. Adam Larson's been thrown out there. There's a bunch of names that's been thrown out. I don't know if Seattle wants to move on for him, but even Borgen from the Seattle Kraken as well. That could be another guy that you look at. They need, I think, one more right shot defenseman. If they could get like 3 right shot defensemen, 3 left shot defensemen, figure out the pairings in there, I think they'll be golden. Lyubushkin, like I said, they went to a game 7 against Tampa and they lost by 1 goal with this guy in the lineup playing with Morgan Riley. So I think the fun thing to do right now is to dump on him, and obviously his advanced stats look terrible. But again, he's a defensive defenseman on an Anaheim Ducks team that is terrible. You have to look at it objectively, right? So we'll see what he does with the Leafs. He wasn't too bad with the Leafs the first time around for what he is. So we'll just have to see what he does. I think Brad Treliving is just playing with what he can at this time. He can't make big moves. They want to hang on to the first unless it's something worthwhile, and I don't know if that's come up yet. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But this, for me, is exciting because, okay, they made a move. They're making a move in the right direction, and they can make more. Yes, they can make more moves. So it's exciting in that way.
One quick thing before we wrap up the video, Darius. Where do you think he slides in? Obviously, you mentioned a little bit maybe with Morgan Riley. And who do you think, if anyone, has to go down out of the defensive lineup? Maybe they won't have to do anything with that depending on injuries and Giordano and all that. But do you have any quick thoughts on that before we wrap up? We'll probably have more on that tomorrow, but just want to throw that in there for the people.
Yeah. It could change a lot in the next couple of days. Giordano's out now, so that's like, we don't know how long that's going to be. We don't know if they're going to trade for another defenseman. In my eyes, McCabe and Benoit can't really be split up. They've been fantastic.
Benoit train.
Yeah, Ben, exactly. I would not split those two up. I could see him slotting in with Riley because him and Riley and Brody have not been working together. I don't know what anybody's saying. I don't know what Keefe is thinking as well. They're not working. So I could see him sliding in with Riley and then Brody going with Liljegren once he comes back. I think that's ideal for the time being, but I think they're going to make another move here.
I tend to agree, and we will have you covered for all of that coming up in all the videos coming up, because there's going to be a lot of them, and I suspect more trades are on the horizon. But that will wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we got this one out quickly for you guys, so we'll have another one and see you tomorrow.